I'd love to see that envious look on your face, but I'm not that cruel, so I'll let it slide. It'd probably be awkward for you to face me anyway, so why don't you hide in the bathroom or something? She laughed loudly, her voice crackling through the phone, mocking me with every syllable. I swear, this woman tests my patience more than anyone else in the world, no, in the entire universe. 13 years ago, she stole my husband, shattering my life into pieces. I'd love nothing more than to cut all ties with her, but that's easier said than done. Why? Because, tragically, this woman is my biological sister. I held the phone to my ear long after she hung up, letting out a small, hollow chuckle. My name is Ruth, a 42-year-old divorcee whose life took a devastating turn. My marriage fell apart in just 6 months, all because of my villainous sister, Rachel. I have an identical twin sister named Rachel, and we're so alike in appearance that even our closest friends often mistake us for each other. But looks are where our similarities end. Our personalities? They couldn't be more opposite. I'm the quiet one, introspective and reserved, while Rachel is bold, always taking charge of everything and everyone around her. In school, I excelled in academics, while Rachel dominated the sports fields. She's the type who blurts out whatever crosses her mind, no matter how hurtful. How can you wear such unstylish clothes, Ruth? People will think I'm unstylish too, since we're twins. That'd be a disaster, she'd say, her words cutting deep. As you can see, we've never gotten along. It wasn't just at home, either. Rachel's chaos followed us everywhere. Back in our school days, I'd get harassed by girls from other schools on my way home. Hey, stop hitting on my boyfriend, they'd shout, their fists raised. Of course, I didn't even know who they were talking about. It was always Rachel's doing. Whenever she set her sights on someone she liked, she wouldn't hesitate to snatch him away, even if he was already taken. I blame those guys too, but Rachel was the instigator, and I, mistaken for her, became a victim of her reckless games. Worse still, she'd lose interest as soon as she got the guy, sometimes dumping them in as little as a week. It was maddening. Rachel, you need to stop this nonsense. I'd plead. Have you ever thought about how those girls feel? Or how I'm suffering because of you? Her response? A cold and unattractive woman's jealousy is terrifying. Then she'd turn her venom on my boyfriend. Your guy, John, right? He's so dull, Ruth. I doubt he'll cheat on you. Don't worry, I have no interest in him. He's not even hot. She'd sneer, belittling the man I loved. That man, John, is the despicable ex-husband who abandoned me without a second thought 13 years ago. We met at a tutoring center, drawn to each other's quiet natures. He made me feel safe, grounded. His mother was a well-known fortune teller, running a respected fortune-telling house that drew clients from far and wide. We graduated from the same university, and 2 years later, we decided to tie the knot. I thought I'd spend my life with this man, building a future together. But 6 months into our marriage, everything fell apart. John placed divorce papers in front of me, his face cold and resolute. Please divorce me, Ruth. I can't take it anymore, and I'm sure you know why, he said. Sitting next to him was Rachel, a smug grin plastered across her face. I was stunned, my voice trembling. Huh? I'm sorry, I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? I don't remember doing anything. At my words, John slammed his fist on the table, his voice rising. Really? How do you have the audacity to say that? You've been cheating on me. Can you still deny it after seeing this? He shoved a few photos toward me, showing a man and a woman entering a hotel together. But to me, it was clear as day, those weren't pictures of me. They were of Rachel, sneaking around with some stranger. I didn't understand what John was talking about. The man in the photos was just another one of Rachel's flings. No, this is Rachel. It's not me. I protested, my heart racing. At that moment, Rachel burst into fake tears, sobbing dramatically. Ruth, stop lying to John, she wailed. Then John turned to her, his voice softening. I'm okay, Rachel. You're so kind. Thank you. I sat there, dumbfounded, watching this bizarre scene unfold. What was I even looking at? John glared at me, spinning a wild, fabricated tale that was beyond comprehension. According to him, I'd been cheating, borrowing Rachel's clothes to disguise myself, spending my free time at hotels with a lover, and living a double life as a deceitful woman. He'd swallowed Rachel's ridiculous story hook, line, and sinker. I heard from Rachel that you've always had a bad track record with men, he accused. Even when we were dating, you were playing around with several guys. I couldn't believe my ears. Are you seriously saying that, John? You've been with me for years, and you believe a story from my sister, who you've only known for 6 months. Are you out of your mind? Are you an idiot? I shot back, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. My calm response must have unnerved him because all he could do was glare. And then, to my shock, Rachel had the nerve to flirt with him right in front of me. You may have the same face, Ruth, but your personalities are worlds apart. You're not charming at all. Rachel always listens to my complaints with a smile. She's so patient. I might have married the wrong sister, John said, his words slicing through me. I was speechless, my heart breaking as Rachel continued her crocodile tears, a sly grin peeking through. She'd always been a player, even back in school, but after she started working, her targets shifted. She began chasing men with social status and wealth, and John, my ex-husband, who worked at a major corporation and came from a moderately wealthy family, was her perfect prey. She must have set her sights on him the moment I introduced them at our wedding. John had been completely fooled by her poor acting, and I realized how naive he truly was. My love for him began to fade, replaced by disgust. You two are despicable, I said, my voice trembling but firm. Do whatever you want, but never show your faces in front of me again. Tears welled up, but I held them back, refusing to let them see me break. I filled out the divorce papers right then and there, throwing them at the pair. Knowing Rachel's cunning nature, I doubted they'd even started a physical relationship yet, which made claiming compensation seem pointless. But if it meant erasing them from my life, I didn't care about the money. When I returned to my parents' house, they were furious at Rachel's betrayal and disowned her. Her response? A flippant, "Oh, really? I don't care. But if you're ever in money trouble, you'll come crawling back to me, right? Bye." She mocked even our parents, showing her true colors. I learned from a friend that Rachel and John married just 3 months later. I was so stunned I couldn't even cry. For 13 years, I avoided them, rebuilding my life piece by piece. But one day, a call from a public phone broke the silence. I always answer unknown numbers for work, so I picked up. Hello, Ruth? I recognized her voice instantly. I don't know how you have the nerve to call me, Rachel, I snapped. She chuckled, unfazed. Are you still holding a grudge? You're always so gloomy, Ruth. Whatever, I have a favor to ask. Without a shred of remorse, she continued, I'm pregnant. Oh, of course, the father is John, who you loved so much. Haha. So, I wanted to let our parents know about their first grandchild. They won't listen to me, so you tell them for me. Her audacity left me speechless. What are you so cheery about when you've been disowned? I retorted. She laughed it off. How many years do you think it's been? 13 years. I think you're the only one still holding a grudge. You're probably still living alone at our parents' house, am I right? I'm saying I'll be the one to give them a grandchild instead of you. Her words were designed to sting, and they did. I'd love to see your envious face, but I'll spare you because it's too pathetic. It'll be awkward when you see me, so why don't you hide in the bathroom or something, she taunted, laughing loudly before hanging up, saying she'd visit that weekend. I kept the phone to my ear after the call ended, letting out a bitter chuckle. That weekend, as I relaxed in my backyard, my phone rang again, a blocked number. It had to be her. Annoyed, I answered, Hey, unblock me already. Her voice was sharp. What's wrong with blocking someone I don't want to hear from? That's what call blocking is for. Oh, maybe you don't understand because you're stupid. I laughed sarcastically, hearing something break on her end, probably out of frustration. I've come all this way and nobody's home. I told you I'd come today, didn't I? She shouted. Huh? You were serious? I thought you were joking. Besides, you hung up before I could tell you. I don't live there anymore, I replied coolly. Her voice trembled with rage. What? Judging by her tone, she was standing in front of our old family home, but none of us lived there anymore. Her commotion was likely disturbing the neighbors, so I gave her my current address and hung up. An hour later, the doorbell rang. There stood Rachel, her face sullen, and John, my ex-husband, looking equally grim. The first thing she blurted out was, "You've got some nerve. What is this place? Why on earth would someone like you be living in such a nice apartment?" Her bloodshot eyes glared at me, filled with envy. It's no surprise she was shocked. My apartment is in a desirable area, relatively new, with rent that's far from cheap. While not a luxury high-rise, it's a comfortable, well-maintained property. Ignoring her outburst, I said calmly, "The neighbors won't like all this noise. Why don't you come inside?" As I showed them in, Rachel seemed taken aback by the spaciousness of the place. Seeing her frustrated expression, I couldn't help but smirk. Our mother, who I live with, sat quietly on the couch, observing Rachel with a steely gaze. "While you said you had something to discuss, I don't mind listening, but if I'm in the way, should I hide in the bathroom or something?" I remarked sarcastically. "Never mind, I'm good," Rachel snapped, moving closer to Mom. Nervously, she said, "Hi, Mom. Long time no see. I'm pregnant. That's why today we wanted to discuss if it's possible for John and me to stay here for a while." At her audacious request, I nearly burst out laughing. "Wait, you want me to live with you guys? No way. Have you forgotten what you did to me?" "Absolutely not," I exclaimed. Cutting me off, Rachel sneered, "Ruth, just shut up. This house is still under Dad's name, right? You can't even get remarried, and you're still leeching off our parents. How pathetic for a single woman like you." Then she added, "Great job taking care of our folks. From now on, John and I will live here and take care of them, so you can leave." "Oh, where's Dad? Is he at work?" Her smug grin pushed me to my limit, but it was Mom who spoke first, her voice quiet but firm. "Dad's gone. He passed away." Those few words hung heavy in the air. My parents were always serious, honorable people, and they'd apologize to me endlessly about my divorce, despite it being Rachel's fault. Dad, especially, blamed himself. Maybe it was my fault for not raising her better. "I'm sorry, Ruth." "I'm so sorry," he'd say, his depression deepening until he could barely work. Back then, both parents were in their early 50s, and we survived on my income and Mom's part-time job. Soon after, Dad was diagnosed with cancer and passed away 10 years ago. Just before he died, he whispered, "Don't tell Rachel anything. I don't think I'll make it to heaven if she comes to my funeral." As he wished, Mom and I never contacted her. We moved to this apartment 5 years ago after Mom injured her leg from overworking. Our old house, perched atop a hill, was too hard for her to navigate, so we chose this accessible home. Since then, Mom's legs have felt much better. I tried to stay calm, but thoughts of Dad made me want to cry. Mom's eyes were teary too. Rachel's reaction, however, was predictable. Too little, too late. Besides, it's not my fault Dad got sick. In fact, you're living in such a nice place now because of Dad's inheritance, right? That's not fair. What about my share? She blurted, shamelessly. Mom shot back, inheritance? There's no such thing. You only came to us when you were in trouble for your foolish actions. Before your marriage, how many times did we pay alimony because you messed around with married men? Live with you? Never. You must be joking. Don't be ridiculous. It was the first time, Rachel, and I saw Mom so enraged. Sensing the tension, Rachel fell silent. Then John, who'd been quiet until now, spoke up. "Rachel, you've been deceiving me, haven't you? Ever since I married you, my life's been a mess. You're a reckless spender, and you don't do any housework. I met some guys from your high school, and they all said I was blind to marry you. I nearly laughed at his words. He'd endured her for 13 years, impressive, in a twisted way. Then he turned to me, his voice softening. Ruth, I've been regretting our divorce. Do you want to start over? Let's let bygones be bygones. As he reached out to touch me, a chill ran down my spine. No way. Please, let bygones be bygones. Who do you think you are? You have no right to say that. I snapped, stepping back. Just then, the door to the next room burst open. Could you not touch her with your dirty hands, please? A man said, startling them. Ignoring Rachel's muttered, Who is he? I sighed. I told you to stay hidden because I didn't want to involve you. He replied, I couldn't stand it when he tried to touch you, Ruth. Besides, a third party might help this discussion, don't you think? Okay, this is my husband, Alex, and Tony, come here. This is our son, Tony. He's 8 years old. I called to our son, who peeked out, glaring at Rachel and John. Huh? You're remarried? Unbelievable. Rachel gasped, more shocked than anyone that I had a husband and child. John's jaw dropped, his face like a fish out of water. What do you mean, why? How many years do you think it's been? 13 years. Despite all that time, you two haven't changed a bit, which is surprising. Well, you do look like you've aged quite a bit, I said, my words laced with sarcasm. Their faces turned bright red. I met Alex shortly after Dad passed. We were colleagues, and one day, he asked me out. When I told him I was a divorcee, he said, Does being divorced mean you can't remarry? And asked again. We married a year later, and Tony was born the following year. Alex treats Mom like his own, doesn't mind us living together, and his parents, who live with his brother's family, welcomed me warmly. We're glad you're here for Alex, they said. Alex suggested moving to this apartment, concerned about Mom's mobility. Turning to Rachel and John, I said, Mom and I are living our lives here. Can you not disrupt us? And Rachel, you said you're pregnant. How many months along are you? Their flustered responses confirmed my suspicion she was likely lying. I was only married to John for 6 months and never got pregnant, which his mother used to taunt me about. If Rachel isn't pregnant, it's probably the same issue. She must get along with that spiteful mother-in-law. Unable to withstand our glares, they left hastily. Is she really your sister? She looks like you, but her character, Alex said, smiling. I gave a bitter smile. Really? That evening, the doorbell rang incessantly. Sighing, I checked the monitor. There they were, pale-faced. We need help. Can you lend us some money? They pleaded, kneeling. Alex looked puzzled, but Mom and I weren't surprised. Earlier, Mom got a call from a friend of Dad's who rents our old home. He reported that Rachel had vandalized the garden's rare flowers and cracked windows in a fit of rage. Security footage confirmed it. When Mom gave Rachel's contact to Dad's friend, he was furious, learning she was the daughter who tormented Dad. They demanded compensation, and since Rachel and John were struggling financially, they came crawling back. I was impressed by their audacity. I can give you money, but on one condition, I said. They signed a pledge never to contact me again in exchange for me covering the damages. As they trudged away, I laughed, thinking, serves you right. But Rachel is still my sister by blood, so cutting ties completely is hard. If she ever tries to approach me using authorities, I'm ready to fight with audio recordings from 13 years ago as evidence. I have no intention of forgiving them ever. Later, a friend told me John resigned from his corporation after our divorce, working at his mother's fortune-telling business. They lived lavishly until she died, and John, with no talent for fortune-telling, took over, but the business collapsed. Desperate, they sold fake bracelets, claiming his mother made them, but a whistleblower exposed their lies. Victims hounded them, and with no home or job, they sought my help. The police are now investigating, and it's only a matter of time before they face justice. We moved again due to Alex's job transfer. Can I really come along? Mom asked apologetically. Alex chuckled. What are you talking about? Your family. Even if you resist, I'll carry you over my shoulder. Mom cried tears of gratitude, and Tony, concerned, offered her a tissue. Watching my family, I felt overwhelming gratitude for my happiness. Why don't we go to my parents' house for New Year's? My husband's words were the spark that ignited everything, the beginning of the end. My name is Susan, a 35-year-old housewife who once shared a career with my husband, Ben. We met at work, fell in love, and married. After giving birth to our beloved daughter, Emily, I left my job to focus on raising her, pouring my heart into our family. But that New Year's visit to Ben's parents' house revealed the harsh reality of my life. Hey, isn't dinner ready yet? My mother-in-law's voice echoed through the house, sharp and demanding. Yes, mother, almost, I replied, bustling in the kitchen, my hands never still. She let out a long, exasperated sigh. You're a complete slacker, Susan. How can Ben put up with a wife like you? Other wives are quicker, more efficient, but not you. Her words stung, but I kept working, swallowing my frustration. Then I overheard Ben, lounging in the living room, watching TV. Yeah, she's slow with everything, he muttered, agreeing with his mother. I was stunned. Oh my goodness, you're just sitting there? I thought, my anger rising. Before I could confront him, my mother-in-law barked more orders. After breakfast, clean the yard, then the closet, and don't forget the storage outside. It was New Year's Day, supposed to be a time of rest and celebration, but here I was, slaving away while Ben did nothing. His indifference fueled my resentment, but I pressed on, exhausted by the time I finished her endless tasks. Collapsing in the living room, I hoped for a moment's rest, but she wasn't done. Who said you could take a break? Make lunch already, she commanded. I've been working all day, I protested weakly. I just need a break. Her response was venomous. A wife should work like a servant. Do you want to eat for free without lifting a finger? I was floored. Ben grew up in the countryside, where old customs lingered, treating wives as subordinates, but this was extreme. No wife should be a servant. Hey, Ben, can you help me a little? I asked, desperate for support. His reply? A sarcastic no way. At home, Ben was lazy, but at his parents' house, he was worse, drinking all day, immobile. I'm going grocery shopping, I said, hoping he'd offer to drive. Yeah, then go, he dismissed me. The supermarket was a 30-minute walk each way, and since Ben had been drinking since morning, I had no choice but to go on foot, as I didn't have a license. Can you at least carry some things? I asked upon returning, arms aching from heavy bags. Nah, I don't want to, he snapped, sipping his beer. I wanted to scream, do you want me to throw machi in your face? But I bit my tongue, imagining the sticky mess. His drunken slur irritated me further. What's the deal with the robot talk? I'm drunk, so what? I can't go. I snapped back. You just don't want to. You're useless. My mother-in-law's voice cut through from behind. Is the meal ready yet? God, I'm starving. The 60-minute walk back, laden with bags, had left me dizzy. I sank at the front door, sighing when I heard her yell, hurry up. You're slow with everything, just like your mother. Then Emily's small voice apologized. I'm sorry. That was my breaking point. Like a robot recharged, I leapt up, storming toward the kitchen, stepping over Ben, still sprawled on the floor. He groaned, but I didn't care. There was Emily, holding the rice cooker's inner pot, looking distressed. What are you doing? I demanded, glaring at my mother-in-law. She sneered, unbothered, as Emily explained, Grandma told me to cook rice because she was hungry. I washed it, but my mother-in-law interrupted, she can't even cook rice. Such a useless granddaughter. What are you teaching her, Susan? She's just like you. I wonder if she's even Ben's daughter. My rage boiled over. She's 6 years old. How dare you make her do that? Can't you do it yourself? How dare you treat your own grandchild this way? My mother-in-law's face turned red, Her voice shrill. What? You want to put this old woman to work? What a horrible woman. A wife is a servant, and she shuts up and works. The daughter of a servant is a servant too. You live off my son's hard work, so respect us and get to work. She stormed out, leaving me speechless at her absurdity. Then I overheard her and Ben talking. Your wife is useless, no better than a servant, she said. When Emily grows up, she'll be useful. Just be patient. You're having a hard time at home, right? You can come back if you want. Divorce is fine, but I need a servant. Ben's response horrified me. Hey, why don't we live together? I'm sick of my job. Maybe it's not a bad idea to let her do the work while I relax in the countryside. I clenched my fists, but small, warm hands covered them. Mom, Emily whispered, her worried eyes meeting mine. I crouched down, speaking softly. Hey, Emily, do you like Daddy? She hesitated, unable to answer immediately. Of course, she couldn't. Ben was indifferent to her, ignoring her after work, glued to the TV or his phone. On weekends, he drank, coming home late. Post-COVID, his drinking worsened, with hangovers a regular occurrence. Family outings were rare. This trip was our first in years. He didn't even know Emily's kindergarten class or her dreams. How could she love him? Do you like your grandmother? I asked. No, she replied instantly, making me laugh. Then she said, because she bullies you, Mom. It's New Year's, and you haven't relaxed at all. She's always ordering you around. Grandma's so cruel. Her words warmed my heart. Children see everything. Smiling, I asked Emily, do you want to live with your grandmother? She shook her head. Do you want your father? Another firm no. That sealed my decision. The next day, I took Emily out, returning to the in-laws' house after dark. Ben and his mother waited, annoyed. You're finally home. What have you been up to? Ben demanded. Yeah, some stuff, I replied evasively. My mother-in-law snapped, young wives these days. I'm hungry, servant. Where's my food? I served them tea silently, but when Ben reached for his cup, I snatched it away, pouring the cooled tea over his head. Whoa, what are you doing? He yelped. Don't worry, it's not hot, I said calmly. That's not the point, he shouted. His mother screamed, What the hell are you doing, servant? I roared back, shut up. I'm not your servant. As she tried to yell, I cut her off. A son's wife is not a servant. I'm not your servant. She was stunned, speechless. I leaned closer, our faces inches apart. Listen, there's no system that lets you use a wife as you please. I'll protect my family, but I won't be your servant. She stammered, I'm your husband's mother. I'm your family, so do as I say. I laughed coldly. If I were a servant, I wouldn't be family. How are you family when you just command me? Her face turned from pale to red. How dare you talk to me like that, she squeaked. You've been talking to me like that. Why can't I? Stop saying stupid things, I retorted, my patience gone. And what? You think your grandchild is a servant? Stop messing with me. Her face turned blue again, like a traffic light. Shocked by her fragility, I scoffed, turning to Ben. And you? What were you doing while our daughter was treated like a servant? He mumbled, I was on my phone, drinking beer. Drinking while your wife and daughter were treated like servants? What a great life. I yelled. I'm sorry, he whimpered. You think an apology fixes this? I glared, and he cowered behind his mother, screaming pitifully. Forget it. Fill this out, I said, handing him divorce papers. His face went blank. Divorce papers? What? We're divorcing. I'll never come here again, I declared. His mother gasped, What? Ben echoed, his mouth agape. I shook the papers. My part's done. I'll submit it after New Year's, so get to it. He protested, This is fake. The office is closed. I smirked. You can get papers online, even on holidays. I could submit them today if I wanted. He shook his head, half crying. No, I don't want a divorce. You don't want me to leave because I'm your servant, right? I accused. No, that's not what I meant, he stammered. I know, I said, pushing the papers at him. If you won't sign, I'll get a lawyer. I'm divorcing you. Turning to Emily, I called, Emily, are you ready? She emerged, holding her bag. Yes, I've packed everything. Ben gaped. Are you going somewhere? I held up my bag. Good question. We're going to my parents' house. He scoffed. You've got to be kidding. No, I'm not. You treated us like servants. We'll discuss this through our lawyer. Goodbye. Taking Emily's hand, I headed for the door. Ben chased us. Wait, you can't live without me. I stopped, turning slowly. Did you forget? I had a better career than you. I made more money. I quit when I got pregnant, but even then, I out-earned you. His face paled. I have a blank slate, but I'll start working again. My parents will help. We'll stay with them for now. I'll make it work, I said firmly. He pleaded, I'm sorry, I can change. You had chances, but you threw them away. It's too late, I replied, opening the door. His mother called, What happens to my meals? I don't care. I yelled, leaving with Emily. At my parents' house, they welcomed us warmly. Rough start to the new year, Mom said, urging us to warm by the heater. Emily peeled tangerines, relieved. Sitting there, eating tangerines, I promised to visit the shrine tomorrow, wishing for a peaceful next year. Ben fought the divorce, but we reached an agreement considering Emily's refusal to stay with him. He paid child support up front, and we sold our apartment. Ben returned to his parents' home, where his mother, now worse than ever, treated him like a servant. A neighbor had seen me slaving away, and the divorce news spread through the countryside's gossip network, leaving his mother shunned. One day, Ben called, whining. Mom's using me like a servant. Can you help? I'm Emily's father. I laughed coldly. I just had a drink. Why are you talking like that? I'm drunk, so I can't go. Why would I help? I hung up, blocking his number. Good fortune comes to those who laugh, I thought, chuckling for hours. One day, I came home to find my husband gone, vanished without a trace. A few days later, I learned he'd eloped with my sister. That was 12 years ago. Recently, he called, demanding, I'm coming home with my wife, and you're in my way. Get out of my parents' house. He was annoyed I was still living there, assuming nothing had changed. It's been 12 years since they betrayed me, and now he thinks he can waltz back with my sister as his wife, believing the dust has settled. But they're clueless. They don't know how drastically my life and our family has transformed. My name is Melanie Miller, a 27-year-old web designer who built a life from the ashes of betrayal. I majored in web design and joined a web production company where I met Shane, a charming salesman who swept me off my feet. After a year of dating, we married, and I became part of his family, moving into his parents' home. I left my job to freelance, working from home to manage the household and support Shane's lifestyle. At first, finding work was tough, and my income was unstable. But soon, I built a steady client base, working at my own pace, prioritizing family. Mornings, evenings, and bedtimes were filled with quality time, and I was content. Then Shane changed. It started when my freelance income doubled, surpassing my old job's salary. Ecstatic, I couldn't wait to tell him. Shane, guess what? Last month, I earned twice what I made at my old job. I beamed. His response was cold. What? You want me to throw you a party? His sarcasm stung. Are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? I thought you'd be happy, I said, confused. Why would I be happy? My salary didn't go up, he snapped. Can't you be happy for your wife? I pleaded. I'm not like you, Melanie. I'm not naturally happy, he said, shutting me down. After that fight, Shane grew distant, our conversations dwindling until I was the only one saying good morning and good night. Even his parents noticed the tension, but said nothing. 2 months passed in silence. He'd change the TV channel mid-show, eat food I bought without asking, and argue when confronted. I kept my hurt inside, until one day, my mother-in-law approached me, concerned. "Melanie, are you okay? You and Shane used to be so close, but now you barely talk." I forced a smile. "We've only been married a year. It's fine." But she saw through me. "If you don't want to talk, I won't push, but your father and I worry you're overwhelming yourself." Her kindness broke me, and I confessed everything, how Shane resented my success, how alone I felt. She rubbed my back, apologizing. "I'm sorry for him. He's not man enough to be happy for you." "It's not your fault, Melanie. You two need to talk seriously." Her support gave me courage, and I resolved to confront Shane that night. I waited, but he didn't come home. By 11 p.m., I texted, "What's taking so long?" No reply. I called, but he didn't answer. Past midnight, he stumbled in, sighing loudly when he saw me. "What are you doing up?" he snapped. "I wanted to talk about us. This started because of my salary, right?" "I'm sorry if it hurt your ego," I said, trembling. His face turned cold. "There's nothing to talk about. It's pathetic you're waiting up." "I made a mistake choosing you," he spat, storming upstairs. His words crushed me. He invalidated my existence, and my heart grew bitter. 2 more months passed without speaking, the days dragging on. Then, one day, I came home to find Shane gone. His room was unnaturally clean, his clothes and suitcase missing. I realized he'd moved out. Panicking, I called his parents, but their phones were off. Then my sister, Mimi, called. "Your husband isn't there, is he?" she asked. "How did you know?" I demanded, suspicion rising. She confessed, "I'm with Shane. I saw him at a bar, and we had a drink. He said you weren't getting along. We're dating, and we're going away to get married. Don't stop us." The call cut off, and she sent photos of them together, laughing on dates. Days later, I received signed divorce papers. Shane had quit his job. Devastated, I told my parents and in-laws, who were horrified. "Melanie, I'm sorry for our son." "You don't have to forgive him, or your sister," my father-in-law said. "You're our daughter. We can't forgive them for hurting you." Their support changed everything. Shane's parents, planning to move, cut ties with him, relocating without telling him. My parents disowned Mimi, vowing to ignore her if she returned. "Someone who'd steal their sister's husband is no daughter of ours," they said. I moved back with my parents, demanding alimony. Shane agreed, sending millions of yen with a note. "Divorce me." I finalized the divorce, cutting all contact. 12 years later, I'm a successful web designer, earning well, traveling with my parents, living fully. Then Shane called. "It's been a long time, Melanie. You're in my house. Get out within 10 minutes, he demanded. "I'm bringing my wife home." I laughed. "What are you talking about?" "I'm not at your parents' house." He chuckled. "Did my dad kick you out?" "How dumb are you?" I said, "Your parents' house doesn't exist. It was torn down." His voice trembled as he pulled up to the empty lot, screaming, "What the hell?" I continued, "After you eloped, we cut ties. Your parents moved, and mine disowned her. There's nowhere for you to go." He groaned. "How is this possible? Believe it or not, you're not family." "You ruined lives," I said, hanging up and blocking him. They tried my parents' house, but were ignored, my father sprinkling salt on them, my mother calling the police for trespassing. Last I heard, they were jobless, homeless, and shunned by friends. They sowed their seeds, and now they'll reap the consequences. My parents and I will never see them again, and they'll live with regret forever. My name is Michael, a man who thought he'd found true love, only to face betrayal, but ultimately discovered a brighter future. I met Amanda through a friend's introduction. Her cheerful, sociable nature drew me in, and after a few dinners, I fell for her. We dated for 2 years, dreaming of marriage. We moved in together, registered our marriage, and had a grand wedding, filled with friends' performances that made it unforgettable. Married life was bliss. Amanda's job allowed her to come home early, cooking dinner for us. "Michael, welcome home. Tonight's pork cutlet," she'd say, knowing my love for meat. Her meals were delicious, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. But nearly 3 years in, something shifted. Amanda stopped cooking, often going out after work, leaving me alone. Where once a homemade meal awaited, now there was only frozen food or store-bought dishes, leaving me lonely. We were both busy, and I told myself she needed her own time, but after 2 months, I decided to act. With work calming down, I took leave, planning a hot spring getaway. Amanda, I took time off. How about a hot spring trip to relax together? I asked, hopeful. Without looking up from her magazine, she replied, no, I don't feel like it. Stunned, I persisted. I've been so busy, I haven't been there for you. I thought you might be lonely, so let's spend quality time together. Her response was cold. It's fine as is. Even if you're not around, I have things to do. Don't worry. Her indifference hurt, and I went to bed with a heavy heart, sleeping poorly. The next morning, we left in awkward silence. Unable to focus at work, I confided in a coworker. Could she be cheating? He suggested. The word hit hard, planting doubt that grew, affecting my health. I left work early, collapsing into bed, still in my suit jacket. Dozing, I heard the front door and Amanda's laughter, accompanied by an unfamiliar man's voice. My heart raced as they approached the bedroom. Amanda opened the door, startled to see me. Michael, why are you here? She asked, mocking me. I wasn't feeling well, so I left early. Weren't you supposed to be at work? I replied. I took a day off and went out, she said, glancing at the man behind her, his arm around her. You went out. I managed, nausea rising. She stood defiant. You already know, right? I'm cheating with this guy, and it's your fault, so I won't apologize. You've ignored me. Scott treats me like a woman, healing my heart. He's a company president, trendy, exciting. I recognized Scott, president of XYZ Company, a client I'd met. Why? I asked, desperate. Like I said, I don't mind divorcing, she replied, trying to leave with him. Are you okay ending our marriage so easily? I pleaded. It doesn't matter, she said. Scott smiled. I'll make Amanda happy, so don't worry, and they left. I got divorced, receiving alimony, but fell into mental illness, taking leave from work. Amanda cheated because I prioritized work, leaving her alone. She met Scott at bars, her charisma drawing him in. A colleague later told me Scott's company relocated, sparing me further contact. Years passed, and I recovered, meeting my wife. I remarried, changing jobs and moving to a serene rural town. Life was peaceful until a police officer stopped me, accusing me of stalking Amanda. At my office, Amanda yelled, "This guy's a stalker. He's been following me." Confused, I protested, "What? How shameless." Scott appeared, saying, "You're still hung up on her?" The police explained Amanda reported a stalker resembling me, and since I'd moved here, they questioned me. I didn't know they lived here. I insisted. Amanda scoffed. Who'd believe a criminal? A lawyer suggested proving my innocence, so I called my wife, Elizabeth, Scott's sister. Elizabeth. Scott gasped, shocked. "Hi, my ex-husband," she said calmly. They didn't know I'd married Scott's sister. His parents, company presidents, disowned him after his affair, taking care of me. I fell for Elizabeth, finding peace. She confirmed my alibi. We were dining at a hotel restaurant during the alleged stalking. Cleared, we left, but Scott and Amanda followed, taunting us. "You'll regret marrying him," Amanda said. Scott's father arrived, glaring. "I'm not your dad. You've been rude to my daughter and son-in-law." He revealed I was studying to inherit his business while Scott's company was bankrupt, buried in debt. Elizabeth added, "You promised to make Amanda happy, but you're all talk." Scott's company collapsed, Amanda left him, and I lived happily with Elizabeth, free from their curse. Please feel free to comment below if you like this. Remember to like and subscribers for more.